this video, we will look at the process of introducing medication. If we have chosen to devote a video specifically to this topic, it is because we believe that the introduction of medication is a key moment, and that this moment will determine the capacity of the person who is going to take the medication to commit to it over time, or at least over a certain period of time. But the context, the conditions of the introduction of the medication will also determine the relationship of trust between the person who prescribes, the doctor, and the person who takes the treatment. The respect of a certain number of steps will be crucial so that the person with ADHD can serenely engage in the psychopharmacological treatment process. Let's see what these steps are. First of all, it is essential that before taking a treatment, there has been a solid diagnosis, a reliable diagnosis that the person concerned has understood, that has been the subject of questions and exchanges to ensure that there is a good common understanding and that the people around him or her, the parents, the spouse, have also understood why the diagnosis was made. If possible and available, quantified measures of the symptoms are precious because they will also allow later on, when the treatment has been introduced, to measure the effectiveness and the evolution on the symptoms. Indeed, introduction is a process that may take a number of weeks or months even. If a quantified and structured evaluation has not been done beforehand, it can be very difficult to remember the exact difficulties or the importance of the difficulties one had before the treatment, and thus to appreciate or not the effectiveness of the treatment. The other evaluation that seems important to us, as far as it is available, of course, is the evaluation of what we call the executive function, that is to say, the cognitive manifestation of the difficulties of attention, like, for example, flexibility, divided attention, or impulsivity. Again, a prior measurement of these difficulties will allow, once the treatment has been implemented, a comparison to see if there are residual difficulties or if the treatment has managed to completely compensate for the difficulties in cognitive functioning. The second step, which should in principle take place before the introduction of medication, is what we call psychoeducation. In fact, being able to understand the difficulties that one presents, to understand ADHD, means being able to understand why one is going to take a treatment. It means understanding what will be improved by the medication and what will not necessarily respond or not in the same way. The third essential step in the initiation of treatment is to ensure a sense of free choice. Indeed, it is difficult to imagine that a person will accept or be able to commit to taking a treatment if a part of him or her is not convinced or feels compelled to take this treatment to meet the expectation of those around him or her, like the teacher, a spouse, or the family, the parents. In relationship to this last point, it is important that there be some form of family consensus, particularly when a child or adolescent is going to engage in psychopharmacological treatment. Indeed, how can we imagine that a young person can serenely commit to a treatment if he or she notices that one of his or her parent is not convinced, or even opposes his or her taking to the treatment? In the next sequence, let's see together how to choose the introductory dosage and how progressively increase the medication in stages until we find the effective dosage.